Thank you guys so much for coming here with Liber Loves Wrestling Weekend and for me here and these lovely ladies in wrestling. I'm Katrina, Katrina Storm, or Hurricane Katrina, whatever way you want to call it. I'm a broadcaster, writer, and correspondent to a few wrestling promotions, and I'm going to go down the list and let the ladies introduce themselves and what they do.
Hi everyone, my name is Arya Rose, and I'm a professional wrestling trainee.
Hello, I'm Haevyn and I'm a wrestling content creator.
Hey, I'm Yolanda the Designer, and I design pro wrestling gear.
This is the first time this has happened to me.
Hi, I am Gabby Ortiz. I am a Philadelphia-based wrestler, and I have been on this journey for like 10 years now. Oh my god.
So my first question to you ladies is, what misconceptions do people outside of the industry have about your role in wrestling?
I mean, the number one is that it's fake. There's nothing fake about that ring and those bumps and those hits and those chops. There's absolutely nothing fake about it.
I would say that I'm real life tough, because I'm not. I'm a total sensitive, wimpy guy, and especially when I worked at my previous job, we had a lot of police officers that worked in the building because it was literally across the street at City Hall. And they would be like, "Oh, you can handle it." And I'm like, "No, you handle it. I can't handle that crazy man. You do it." And they're like, "No, you got it. You're a wrestler." I'm like, "It's fake." No, it's not fake, but predetermined.
I'll go next. Alright, so mine's a little different. When I tell people outside of pro wrestling that I design pro wrestling gear, they think it's amazing. Like, they really think it's freaking amazing. The problem is the people in professional wrestling. Because I, unfortunately, had a lot of haters when I first started and had to prove my worth, which is fine, but it wasn't respectfully. It was like they thought they knew more than me, but I'm like, I've been designing clothes that's been going in stores since '03. I started this journey in designing gear full-time in 2014. I can tell you way more than you can tell me. So, it was the other way around for me.
I just sort of the same, like outside of wrestling, they're like, "Oh, that's so cool," but they'll ask me, "Isn't it fake? You still watch that?" And then I just say everything on TV is scripted, just like wrestling, so it's not fake, you know? Also, in the wrestling space, a lot of fans will think that I get paid to talk, like, talk well about a company, and I'm like, no, it's my actual opinions. Like, you can't pay me to say something good if I don't like it, you know? So, it's weird.
I would just add, I think the only misconception is everybody thinks I'm a wrestler, and I'm like, oh no. Let's save that to the big dogs, not Katrina, So my next question for you is, what role does storytelling and cultural identity play in your work, if it does at all?
I mean, in wrestling especially, storytelling is everything. It's literally what captures the audience. It's what keeps us watching. And in terms of like culture and stories, I want to be a wrestler that's not like this typical stereotype Latina. Like, I want to make my own story the way I want it to be told. And I think that's like, in wrestling is so beautiful because you can literally be any character that you want. Like, you don't have to be the feisty Latina. You can be, but you can also be like the nerd. You can be the powerhouse. You can literally be anything you want in wrestling, as long as like your story makes sense for you.
For me, I wanted to, when I got into wrestling, my initial attempt was to be like the emo kid that listened to Fall Out Boy and Saves the Day all the time, and was kind of, not like, there's a guy named Rulo who's on the Indies who does a really good emo gimmick, not quite like him, a little more seen, so like colorful. And sometimes what you want isn't what you're gonna get, and you land into roles like the feisty Latina. Even if I am Latina, but that's not me in real life. But it kind of got thrusted on me at some point, and then, you know, there's always that stereotype of the big booty Latina. I never felt that way about myself. And then all of a sudden, my butt is famous in a meme with Arya Rose, and then I became the big booty Latina. And I'm just like, you know what? I have to play into this. And then with storytelling, I think with a lot of women in wrestling, it's hard to maintain a long program at an indie place. Because a lot of companies were doing for one-offs or two-offs or three, and then like or Steve-offs, and and then, you know, you're on your way. So every moment of storytelling that you get counts, because who knows how many you're gonna get, if you're gonna be asked back at this place or not, or if there's room for you, or carving room for yourself there by telling these stories. It's extremely important, and until I'm booking my own show and writing my own script, I am an actor in this play, and I have to give the script that's given to me, even if I'm like not totally cool with it. And if you get comfortable in a place, you can not politic, but you can definitely like give your opinion about what you'd like to do, and then it evolves. The pro wrestling storyline is ever going and never ending, and we are all part of it in some way.
I think as far as the culture goes, I think wrestling in itself is like a culture, and I just want to like build community, and we're kind of changing what they think a typical wrestling fan may look like, act like, just like things that we can do, because they look at us as like nerds, but we're so much more than that. And I just think wrestling fans is like a big family, not the Raiders though, but yeah. So I think wrestling in itself is the culture, you know.
Okay, hopefully I'm not mixing up my thoughts in this question, but for me it goes hand in hand when I'm designing for somebody. I am more about the brand, and I try to make sure that they stick to what their brand is, and sometimes you don't have to be dictated by the culture. It doesn't make sense with your persona, because it can get lost. So it's trying to find that happy medium sometimes with certain people, especially if they're trying to find themselves. But if let's say you're supposed to be emo, then let's commit. I don't need you to be hip hop. I need you to be emo, and that's okay. You know what I mean? So that's how it relates to me. If we are in the culture, then let's go. All right, I got you. You know, but sometimes there has been often where I have to pause some people for the greater good so they can advance in their career.
This piggybacks into the next question, which is how do you balance your authenticity with the pressure to also sometimes fit into the boxes they put women of color?
Well, that's pretty funny because it's kind of where my question sort of led off. But I like to do it in different ways. Like, for example, I just mentioned Fall Out Boy. They're my favorite band of all time. Like, I love them. My logo is, they have a logo that says FOB, and then I just put my GAB, Gab. And I slip those things in every now and then. Like tomorrow, for example, I love cartoons more so much. And so tomorrow, if you want to come see it, I'm not telling you what I'm going to be, but I'm definitely going to not be Gabby Ortiz tomorrow when I wrestle, and it'll be a lot of fun. It'll definitely be like totally not something that I enjoy. I've wrestled as Waluigi before. I definitely try to really bring in, and Louise from Bob's Burgers, I've done her too.
All right.
Yeah, I try to bring in like who I truly am, like on a day-to-day basis, which is an emo, cartoon-loving, Nintendo-loving nerd. And then I still get to, be the Latina. So it's nice.
I think kind of the same, like with me. Technically, on paper, it says that I'm 4'11", but I like to tell people that I'm 6'7". So I 6'7". So I really like to play on like the exaggerated parts of myself that I can't be like in my regular day. Like in wrestling, I can tell everyone I'm 6'7", and you guys are not gonna tell me that I'm not. And I am gonna tell you that I can beat every single one of you guys up, even though technically in my everyday life I cannot. So I always think that I like to put like a little bit of myself into wrestling, but always like times 100. Like exaggerate everything, be louder than I am in my regular life, be funnier, be crazier, be more exaggerated. I think it's fun to play on like the stuff that you cannot do in your regular life in wrestling, if that makes sense.
Well, I don't wrestle, but I think people would expect me to dress a little differently, but I dress like alternatively. I love Jeff Hardy, so I sometimes dress like Jeff Hardy. And I just bring everything else that I like into my streams, and the chat knows that I look like Batman, and Supernatural is my favorite show ever. And we know we make our own little inside jokes and everything, but I'm like, I think when people look at me, they don't even think that I watch wrestling, you know? But I'm never gonna try to fit in. I can only be me, you know, so that's just what I do.
It's all good. All right, so when I first started this journey, I actually started designing t-shirts. Actually, fun fact, and I have somebody here who can proof saying that I'm telling the truth, but I was definitely the first alternative wrestling t-shirt brand in 2008, 2009. And but with that being said, I learned about the term of being the mark, and I also didn't want people, I just know me, and my brain was like, you're not gonna play me. How can I find that balance? Because y'all saw me as a fan for a whole year, it's a change. And then I decided to start with t-shirts, and then eventually turned into gear. So like that was like, not a challenge, but I knew I had the first show that I wasn't here just to be like, don't treat me like a fan. Like, and try to play me for free merch, free this, free that, or think anything else. You feel me? Because it wasn't too many. That's another thing too. It wasn't too many of me as far as women fans. I went to shows by myself, and I barely saw females or black people, if I can really be honest. You know, and but nobody tried to try me, which is great. But as far as like my personality is, I felt like this is where I can totally be me. I can laugh loud, I can joke, I can cheer, I can boo, I can talk respectful trash. And that paid off in dividends because a lot of people felt comfortable talking to me as far as getting their merchandise created or their gear designed because I was myself.
Just wanted to add to your point about people like assuming certain things, because I definitely had people, because I do broadcasting, so backstage stuff, and the first thing people thought I was like a fan, and I'm like, well, I am a fan, but this is me hard work, like, you know, talking to people, putting myself out there, speaking up, like, can I do this, would you mind me doing that, and it just happened to open up other doors, but it was the assumption of like, with the shows, oh, you're not respected because you're a fan girl, and I was like, whoa.
Slow your roll.
Whoa, like, my resume's better than half the locker room, so I would just need you to, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Clap it for that.
I've done things that I don't wrestle, but I've been able to do really awesome things and talk to people I watched on TV, so it's like, let's be respectful. So I just wanted, because that's literally what I thought. I was like, oh my god, the guy was like, you're a fan girl. And I was like, whoa, no, I'm not. Like, I am, but I'm not. Like,
We are fans. Obviously, we're fans. Don't get it twisted.
What is the moment for you that you realize this is, I'm gonna design, I'm gonna wrestle, I'm gonna even get into content, knowing just how the space in wrestling can be anyway, but the space in particular for the ladies in the space. How do you guys knew this was like, this is what I want to do?
Well, I was 20 years old when I decided that this is what I wanted to do. I had already, you know, been a child actor. I don't know if you know the movie Jersey Girl with Kevin Smith. I worked on that movie. I was literally like, I did I was a kid model in South America for the Gardasil vaccine. I still get paid for that to this day. Like, it's just, I was a kid model, I was an actor, I did plays, I did musicals, I was in a band, I played at the Trocadero that used to be there, I played at TLA, like I used to do those things. And then, bummer, my mom passed away, and I had to I reevaluated, like, what is my purpose in this world? What do I want to do? My dad watched professional wrestling my entire life, and I'd watch it offhandedly, you know, if I wasn't doing anything, and we'd sit, and then he'd tell me, like, what's going on, and on the storylines and everything, and then I was sitting there watching it with him, and I was like, huh. And the wheels started turning, and I was like, I think that this is the answer right now. I think I could do this, and especially when I saw AJ Lee, because she was this short, emo, Latina, bipolar from the Northeast. I was like, that's me. That's literally me. So that's when I looked on TV and I was like, I'm gonna look up schools. I'm gonna look up how to even be a wrestler. And I did, and then I found the Monster Factory, which is the school I came up in, rest in peace. And I never left. And I can't believe that this is the thing that stuck. Out of all of the things that those two things I mentioned were just like two of the things, because there's plenty of other mediums that I've gone into that did stick, but pro wrestling really did, and I'm super grateful for that because it's taken me around the world.
I think for me, it was taking that first bump and living to tell about it. Yeah, because I would have never, even like 3 years ago, I would have never, ever would have thought that I'll be like doing wrestling matches and training and like meeting people that I've watched on TV and like idolized. Like never in a million years. So the fact that I found a wrestling school that I call home, and the fact that I was able to take a bump and take another one, and then I learned how to run the ropes, and I was like, wait, I can actually do this? Like, what? Okay, so let's keep it going until I can't anymore. And so far, I'm still going. So I think that first bump was like the realization that hold on, I can do this. Like this little Dominican girl from the Bronx can wrestle? What? That's crazy. But yeah, it was that first bump that really made me like, okay, we can do this.
Well, for me, I didn't know too many people that watch wrestling in my life, and so I just started making videos to talk about it, to like connect with other people. And then I just started seeing, traction and getting a bigger following or whatever. And so I was like, okay, let me be consistent now. And then I just, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube sooner or later. But I just really wanted to connect with people that watch wrestling because I'm so passionate about it. I can talk about wrestling for hours, and I didn't know nobody really who was down for that. But like now, my comment section, messages, I have all the wrestling conversations I need,
Okay, I want to start with something that will go right into this. So I always knew I wanted to do fashion design since I was 7, right? I went to Warren College of Art in Philly, not too far from here. Hey. And then, and during my junior year, Tough Enough comes on, and I'm tempted. I go, should I like try it out? No, yo, you said this is what you want to do, you're gonna stick it out, so I stick it out. And then I find a community, finally a wrestling community in 07. And I started going to indie shows. And then as we're on community, WWE is selling these overpriced trash t-shirts. They were bad. I think the best shirt was a John Morrison shirt. And I said, I can totally do better than this. Because at this point, this is not the toot my own horn, it's just keeping it real. I'm designing for, if y'all remember, Mark Echo. I started out as FUBU intern in Nietzsche. So it's like, I know my stuff. I can do this. So, so from there, thank you very much. And so from there, I was like, you know what? Should I start with t-shirts or should I start with gear? And I was kind of confused. And then I'm going to a whole bunch of Chikara shows. I'm just keeping around Chikara. It's basically where it was for me started. And I hit up to Claudio Castagnoli and asked him, what should I do? He said, well, gear is gonna be harder. But t-shirts would be, I think, easier for you to start. So then I started messing around. I designed this t-shirt first, designed bandanas for a former wrestler named Vin Gerard. If you know, you know. And I did gear for him one time, but that's when I knew I'm too crazy to design gear. Like you can't get both from me. So, but once I started my own and actually started designing I debuted my t-shirts at King of Trios 09. And I just had a blast. And I made it my own, during their fan conclave. I had games you could play, Uno. I would have Uno cards, I would have prizes. I had a hype man, shout out to Killer Kyle. We were just extra with it, and from there I knew this is it. This is the one.
Just wanna.
No. You had to answer. Okay. No, I just wanted to
Say, because Arya was trying to be a little coy here. She just won her first title.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
And so,
We're talking about big ones here.
I just wanted to put that out there because she didn't say it. I'm like, girl, you took the bump, but you got a title now. So let's
talk about it.
Let's do it.
You can stop saying in training now. You're a pro wrestler.
I
You have my blessing.
That was cute, but no more.
So my next question is, how do you feel, because social media, I say, is a gift and a curse. I've gotten some awesome people because of social media, Haevyn being one of them. We literally met at a wrestling viewing party because of social media. So it can be a good thing, but sometimes social media can be a lot. And a lot of people do a lot on social media, as y'all know. And so my question is, how do you think social media kind of affects how, you move within this space? Whether it's wrestling or content or creating whatever you do, and your experience with dealing with other fans, if you like wrestling, you have wrestling fans, or even people who just support your content or support your designs.
Social media for me is like it's my job. It's my job now. I do wrestling and then social media and content creation. To me, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I have full creative control over that aspect of my character and my life, and I love it. And it does get hard. Sometimes there's those comments, man. Like you get 1,000, like you look great, you did amazing, I love this, I love that, and some guy will be like, you look shit. That will stick with me for the rest of the day, and I don't know what the psychological reason for that is. I'm not gonna dig into that right now. But when people on social media is so toxic, I look at that and I look at the percentage of people who like what I do and who like what my friends do and who like what my colleagues do versus the percentage of people that don't. And it's the percentage of people that don't is negligible basically, because everyone else is super cool. And there's a way that you can take that toxic social media and sort of, manipulate it to be what you want it to be, and talk to the people that you want to talk to, block the people that you don't, and maybe make a living off of it, or get bookings from it, which is totally possible. I mean, I think that's like the main way people get bookings now is through social media, and I'm very grateful for it. I don't know if anybody else here feels that same way.
Just to piggyback on what she said, it's probably the best thing that's happened to me because, like you said, we started our friendship on social media. My following really allowed this to be my job and everything, and just building a community, and then also getting that recognition from actual wrestlers that's on TV. So I got opportunities to work with WWE 2K, and I never would have dreamed that they didn't even know who I was, And so I was able to go there and play a game, and last year, Jay Uso pointed at me and said he knew me, and I was just like, me? So I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then and so just stuff like that, you just never know where things can take you, and it was just something that I just was really passionate about, something I just wanted to do for fun. And then I was like, oh wow, this could be like a job, this could be, you know, and it's taken me to other places as well. Like I haven't traveled as much as she has, but you know, I've been to some places because of it, so it's really cool. Yes, the comments are crazy because someone said to me, does she ever blink? And now I watch my videos like, oh my God, am I blinking? So the weird comments will stick with you, and I'm like, no, let me just, it doesn't matter, you know, so it's really the best thing, but it gets a little weird. It definitely gets weird. You know. You see how it is.
I think with social media also, it's basically become like our resume, I think, especially for people like the ones who like, all shows aren't recorded, so it's up to us sometimes, wrestlers, to like make sure you get that footage, make sure you get that good angle so you can post it online and hope that maybe someone shares it or someone who knows someone sees it and they're like, oh wow, this is cool. Or like it shows up on someone's explore page and they'll click on it and then they'll be like, wait, this looks like New York or this looks like Jersey, like let me make the trip and go see this person, I want to see more of her stuff, or I want, this company looks cool, let me follow this company. So our social media is basically like our resume, and it's how we make connections. Like, it's hard, especially for me, it's hard for me to like go up to a person and say, oh hi, I'm so and so and so and so. But I can go on someone's page and be like, wow, that was amazing. That's a lot of, for me, it's easier to communicate sometimes, you know, online, and it's easier for me to make connections. Like that when you meet a person, you're like, oh, we follow each other for like 2 years, we finally meet, let's work or let's do something together. I think it's a real like gateway to meet people and make connections. And also like as a fan, because we are, I don't like the word mark, okay? We can still be fans and we can still be in the business. So when you post something online and someone who like you look up to and like you admire, they like your post, you're like, what the hell? Like, you know I exist. Like that's there's no shame in saying that you're a fan. And when someone you are a fan of knows who you are, like that's like a nice little pat on the back, like a little confidence boost. So I think social media, when used correctly in a positive way, is an amazing and great opportunity.
Okay, well, I need to be last and I need time to think. So there's a lot of times. So I'll tell you one bad one and then the positivity. So I know that I had a conversation with my buddy with me that I've held myself back with social media a lot because even though I'm funny, I joke but I'm a play. And if somebody say the wrong thing, I can see their urge me wanting to read them the filth. Especially now. Like now I'm with it. I want the smoke at times. So it's like, no, yo. But long time ago, somebody did try me because they lied and didn't think I was going to see it. Talking about they got me this, they hooked me up with this wrestler so I could create their t-shirts and it was their idea. And I guess they didn't think I was going to find it. I wasn't even searching for it. It just found me. And I said, oh, you did, huh? And I can remember all the words, and I probably should never remember this, but all I know, it was like crack your knuckles. And I know they deleted whatever nonsense they were trying to kick. But for me, it definitely helped increase my awareness when I do share that I'm around. Of course, you know, you have clients. Sometimes you have people that just say, I'm just a fan of yours, which for me is like so humbling, you know, or if I inspired somebody, extremely humbling. There's been times where wrestlers I don't think know me, and then I find out they do. Like they talk to me like, oh yeah, da da da, and then you know, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. But then they keep it real and tell me how, and tell me how much they, you know, appreciate what I've done for other people, and that's always a real good experience. But yeah, I've definitely seen the worst of the other side, and hopefully when I do expand, because I have to, I will handle it gracefully. If not, you will be very entertained.
I just mentioned before we read the filth, and that is so weak, and let's get this is why I don't wrestle, because I know me. And so, of course, I got one time says I'm crazy, I'm like, oh, and I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. I'm a petty person, people do not. So, well, Haevyn knows, we've done the Twitch streams with people, like, just quick story. There was a guy who was upset we didn't like Goldberg. Like, for whatever reason, he took it personal that me and Haevyn didn't like Goldberg, and he wanted to get these facts. I'm like, well, that's nice, but I still don't like him. I'm like him today, tomorrow, next year, when I'm dead in my grave, and I'm not gonna like him. So you're saying all this for no reason, and I was so upset that I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, because I wrote a whole rant about this guy, because I was like, you doing the most over Goldberg. Goldberg don't know you, my guy. Relax. Okay, like he don't know you personally. He not gonna thank you for defending the cause to random people on Twitch. So I need you to calm down. And so this is why I don't wrestle, because I know me. And I'm probably a amazing heel, you know, but
Child.
I will stick to my broadcasting, you know, the professional last, you know. What would you say is, hold on, let me get my question correct, sorry. What would you say you hope would be the future of like making sure there's diversity and inclusion, especially with women in the wrestling space?
I think it's important when you're in a position that I'm kind of in at this point, where people come to me and ask, like, who would you like to wrestle? Like, for example, I messaged you earlier this week to see if we could wrestle each other. Damaris Dawkins was like my favorite person to wrestle in the world. She did her panel last year. She's currently loving Jesus right now, which is like a great journey for her, because she's like the best person ever. It's like asking and telling other promoters about other women of color who are in this business and giving them, sharing the ring with them and asking to share the ring with them. And if I've seen a couple of girls just in life, like, or at the gym, I'm like, have you considered doing this? Like, you have a great look, like you could, and I sound kind of like I'm trying to make them do something else, but no, that's not it. I want to be a wrestler, a pro wrestler. and I just like, I think it's doing that, and then using your platform and your space in a locker room to uplift other women of color and other women in general too, but I got a special place in my heart for the black and brown girlies.
I could not say it more perfect than that. It's honestly speaking up for ourselves, promoting each other, sharing each other's stuff, putting each other's names out there. Sometimes when they're not in the room, when they're in the room, just keeping everyone's name like in everyone's ear, promoting each other, supporting each other. That's the only way that we're gonna keep seeing women of color on TV, in the indies. It's up to us, because no one else is gonna promote us better than ourselves. And no one's gonna promote us the way we want to be promoted other than ourselves. So I think it's really, I mean, you know, the companies do it too, but I think within each other, I think we are our best like support system, because we know, like, we've been through it, we know what it's like, and we know what it's like to not be able to be in those spaces. So when we are in those spaces, to bring each other's names in there, bring each other's names into the table in conversations, I think that's the best way to keep us in conversations, always.
I'm just more of the same. Like, I make sure I'm in certain people's comments if I see they're just now starting out content creation, and just encouraging them. People message me and ask how to get started, and I'm always excited to give them advice. I'll send them a video on how to use OBS. I've done that right before I started streaming. I'll make a quick video showing them how to download and install everything, because I'm like, why not? Like, there's enough room for all of us here. You know, I'm sharing videos, like you said, and someone actually helped me out. Like, another girl in the space, she gave me a contact, and I was like, oh, thank you so much. And she didn't have to do that, you know, and I was like, I appreciate that so much, because I try to do that for other people. You know, it's just like, we can all make it. I think everyone should just encourage each other, like you said, especially black and brown people, you know, because we are still a minority in this space.
Mine is a little different, because I try to support all of us in this space. I've been doing it forever now that I think about it. But when it comes to designers, I don't know too many females that just call themselves designers. I know one of my goals has always been like to teach what I know. Something that's on my heart. It would be nice if more women would talk to me about that. I'm really thinking about it. I'll have wrestlers stop me and we'll talk. But never that you're a designer. And I have so much jewels to drop because I'm seeing so many people design on fantasy bodies. And when if they're lucky enough for their gear to be chosen, sometimes it's not even recognizable. And I feel bad because it's like, I know you're claiming it, but they changed everything because you don't have the knowledge to know what works. You're drawing it on a body that's not theirs. You know what I mean? And I've been very fortunate where most 90% of my designs are accurate. The only reason why it's off is because they can't afford the materials, or I didn't measure it myself and do pattern. And then you got the few that are just haters and just did what they. First of all, then you got people who are not experienced enough to do some things and won't tell you. That's another story. But I would love for more people, especially women, to have this conversation with me. So now that I've said that here, and I'll say that a whole lot more, because there's not too many of us at all in my space.
I just wanted to say really quickly, I cannot mention women supporting women without mentioning two women who have been supporting me, and I would even say like mentoring me since I started my wrestling career. That is Jem and Miss Sammy Chaos. Those two women have opened so many doors for me. Sammy Chaos, she'll be here on Sunday. Yes, she doesn't. A year and a half in, there's no week, she does not have to be like, hey, I have an all-woman show in North Carolina. Do you want to hop in the car and come with me, make connections? She does not have to do that. And she's done it so many times. Jem is always, whenever she has a booking offer, she will always throw my name out there, or she'll invite me to her just like for support and to meet promoters and to maybe get an opportunity. But just those two especially have always brought me along, have always supported me, even though I'm gonna punch them in the face every chance that I get. But yeah, I cannot mention women supporting women without mentioning those two.
Just want to add, one of the reasons why I do these panels, and I've had people, Gabby because we dealt with this last year, with a guy who's really upset with us because I said it's an all-women's panel, and for some strange reason, he's like, well, that's just being hateful, and like, how could you? And I'm like, well, it's wrestling, and wrestling is already a male-dominated space, so if I'm having my one little panel, for my one little weekend, you'll be fine. Like, I'm gonna die, and you're not my panel. Like, he was arguing with us for days, and he was like, it's just not fair. And I'm like, dude, wrestling, just turn the TV on, and you're gonna find a wrestling promotion, and you're gonna find a guy that's in some tights or some briefs or whatever he wanna wear, whatever that may be, whatever it is. And you don't need to be excited. I think one of the reasons why I do this is because I've been watching wrestling since I was 6. Yay, Shawn Michaels. And so, like, I watched this with my grandmother, and my grandmother was like a really huge Randy Savage fan. Like, she would be sitting and yelling at TV. No expense promise made absolutely no sense, and she was sitting there like, yo, Katrina, look at this, and you know, everything else. And to me, that was exciting being there doing that with my grandmother. And then Shawn Michaels, when he came, I was like, listen. You know, listen, I feel like I know what I'm trying to say, listen. And so just being able to be around other women in the space, and it doesn't matter what they're doing, just other fans, or just seeing the women who usually kill it, you know, other wrestling, like Sammy Chaos, you mentioned her, and sis is amazing. Like, Sammy Chaos, if you haven't seen her, look her up, she is so freaking amazing. She just did Japan, I want to say a few months ago last year. I just did a whole tour of Japan. Like, she's really amazing, and like, just to see those different types of wrestlers, or just to have the space to see like, okay, there's a few of us in here doing cool things, let's have that platform. And so that's one of the reasons why I did panel. And so that's just what I wanted to add, this is the reason, and just wanting to see the girlies, but especially girls of color, you know, do great things and, you know, win.
Woo!
about the gentlemen who are like, it's not fair. It's not fair. Like, yeah, it isn't. What about it? What are you gonna do about it? It isn't fair for you.
Right.
Boom.
Step in a ring. Like, come on.
What would be the proudest thing you have done in your career so far?
Oh my goodness.
The proudest thing that I have done in my career was literally my first real professional match. It was with Ring of Honor down at the 2300 Arena, the very famous illustrious 2300 Arena. And it was on Mother's Day. I mentioned earlier that my mother had passed, and they told me the name that my coach gave me, oh my god, was Gabby Slays. And I hated it, but I did it because I really cared about it. I wanted to make him happy, whatever. And they were like, you can't, that sucks. Like, get a new name. And I was like, I think I will be Gabby Ortiz. Ortiz is my mom's last name, her maiden name. The only name she really went by. And yeah, so I debuted for Ring of Honor at 2300 Arena on Mother's Day with my mother's name, and I haven't been more proud of myself since, and that was a long time ago. There's been other cool proud moments like going to Japan, WWE tryout, the list goes on and on. But that was very special to me, and it still is, and I think it's my dad's proudest moment too.
For me, I would say, I think performing for the first time in front of my family, and that was in the Bronx. I am born and raised in the Bronx. I live and breathe the Bronx. The happiest place on earth is the Bronx. And being able to perform there in front of my brother, my dad, and my cousins, and they know, we always watch wrestling together. My grandfather used to make us sit crisscross applesauce in the sala, watching wrestling instead of novelas, and then to have them like in the crowd watch me, and then they're like, oh my god, Grandpa will be so proud of you. That was like the best moment ever.
Wrestling is a novela.
we are the novela.
Well, as I mentioned a little earlier, I think the first big thing would be just working with WWE 2K, because I was like, oh, just making content, and they fly you out, they pay for everything, and it was just the coolest experience. I got to meet other creators, I got to meet the wrestlers, I got to talk to them, play the game with them, and that was such a big deal for me. And then I was invited back this year, and I also got to work with WWE on a campaign with Maybelline. And I got to work with AEW, which I love AEW so much. And I got to work with them, but they had like a White Castle collab, and I was able to be a part of that. And so I'm just like, just me sitting here and talking to my phone about wrestling is just bringing me all these opportunities, and I'm just so thankful. But that first 2K event was such the biggest deal to me ever. So I would say that.
Oh boy. Okay, I know what mine is, and so 2023, the great Sandra Gray hit me up. I ain't gonna hold you, I'm trying not to cry. Oh, jeez, it's the greatest thing ever for me. So she hit me up to design gear for a particular wrestler for WrestleMania 39. And that wrestler was Cody Rhodes. And I put so much effort into that. I gave him gold wings, and she was able to bring it to life. And that gear was so good that it was on the cover of WWE 2K. To this day, that gear is everywhere. I went to Vegas, and no, I didn't design for him for that, but it was everywhere. It was on the side of the building. And it's been 3 years, and I had went through so much with this career and journey of mine, being solo, you know, no representation, no nothing. And like, that will always make me feel like this was all worth it. So yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's a few. I would say, because again, I don't wrestle, and I actually hate talking on camera. I hate talking on mics, and yet, I literally do a job that requires me to do both of those things. And I think if you guys seen that Queen of the Ring movie last year, something was like, just see what he's gonna say, and I was like, can I have press experience, like before the broadcasting, I was doing writing and press work, that's easy. Can I just pop on the red carpet? And he got me on the red carpet, and so I got to, my very first wrestling broadcasting gig, I worked with Jazz, and I was freaking out because Jazz used to beat people up, you know, on TV, and she was like a black woman on TV, and we had really badass wrestlers like Jacqueline, who we didn't see many badass black women in wrestling, and so I was having a meltdown because I couldn't get my words together to do my job properly, because it was like, you're standing right next to Jess, this is crazy. So when I got to the Queen of the Ring, she remembered me. And I was now talking to her now more professional because I now got some years in. And she was like, I remember your smile. She was like, I remember you. And I was like, you remember me, Katrina? And then one of my first big interviews, virtual, was Medusa. And she remembered me as well on the red carpet. And so being able to kind of get those ladies and get Trish and Lita at the same time on the red carpet for me was probably the proudest thing, because I did that all on my own. And it was simply just like, let me see what this director wants to say. He can tell me no, or he can do what he did, which was really awesome, just to kind of have my own name up there. And this was the first press thing I did with no other company attached. And so that for me was just really a big deal, because I was like, I've watched all of you guys on my TV, and I'm sitting here talking to you guys as peers, and not crying. So, you know, in the Metro Fight, that's 20 times I met him, I was sobbing. And so I think that's my proudest moment, and getting this original panel was originally New York Comic Con, and I'm at New York Comic Con every year. And I didn't think they were gonna pick it that year that they did. I was the only wrestling related anything that weekend. And so it was kind of really awesome to see that play out at my favorite con, and being now able to do this. This is the 8th time I've done this panel. And so, and so I want to give time for people to ask questions. And so my last question for you is, who is your favorite women wrestler? You can say yourself if you want to, just start out. Who's your favorite woman wrestler and why?
I mentioned her earlier with AJ Lee, with April. I can borrow that to have a conversation. I loved her because there was at a time where I was very skinny. So there was a time where I looked just like her. Like we could have literally been sisters. And just watching her is why I'm here right now. And I adored her, and I was starting to get on shows, and WWE had me doing extra work in the tryout and different things when she was on her way out. So in my head, I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to tell her this. I'll never be able to tell her how much I love her. I was gonna message her, DM or anything like that. You know what I mean? I wanted to tell her to her face. And I just did extra work in Boston in March, and she was in the seamstress room actually, and she was ironing a shirt. And I'm like, this is my chance, this is my moment, this is my chance, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, we're gonna do it. And as I'm in my head doing this, I'm walking up to her, like my body just did whatever I wanted to. And my head's like, stop it, no, wait, no, okay, go, do it. Hi, I just wanted to tell you, I'm sorry to interrupt you, you're amazing, you're the reason that I'm wrestling. I feel like I'm just like you, and I feel like you and I could be really good friends. If you're willing to, maybe we could be a tag team, that would be super cool too. And if we could be a tag team, or maybe we could do I do an X Factor, so we could do maybe a thing with an X Factor, and then you put them in the Black Widow, and then we can win the championship together if you really wanted to, is what I wanted to say. But what I did say was just very pleasantly, thank you so much for everything you've done. You are the reason I'm a wrestler. You're the reason that I've done cool things like this. You're the reason that I've been in Japan, and I appreciate you, and I'm so glad I got to tell you this today. And then we talked for like 20 minutes, and she was really, really, really freaking cool. Just a really nice person. And so she will be my favorite wrestler for the rest of my life, and yeah, I'm super appreciative of her. Sorry for the very long answer, but it's an important story to me.
I mean, AJB is, I'm gonna piggyback off of you because I've been watching, I don't remember when I started, I've been watching wrestling all my life, but I remember like, I kind of fell off, I hate to say this, like I kind of fell off a little bit, especially like with the female wrestlers. I couldn't like, I don't know what it was, but then I remember I stopped watching wrestling for like a little bit, and then AJ was there, and I was like, she is so cool. Like she's like this nerdy, fun, like relatable. And then when Daniel Bryan is my favorite wrestler of all time. So when she got partnered up with Bryan, I was like, oh my God, who is she? She is so cool. And they had like this amazing storyline, and she was on TV like every segment. I guess she was there, and I was like, holy shit! I'm sorry. I was like, wow, like we have a woman who's like constantly like on TV with the top guys, and like this is the most entertaining story on right now that I can remember at that time. So definitely AJ Lee, and then Sally retired for a bit, and then I discovered my favorite wrestler of all time, Miss Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, and then Mercedes Moné. I'm gonna go with Mercedes Moné. She is like everything I wanted like in a wrestler. Like she in the ring, I don't think she's untouchable to me. Like I don't understand. She talks a big game, but she performs in the ring every time. And it's like I not copy. I get a lot of influence from her, especially like with Arya Rose. Like I talk a big game, and I want to get to the point where like I can back it up every single time, like Mercedes does every time she steps in the ring. And I just think she's amazing, and I love her.
My favorite women's wrestler is also Sasha Banks / Mercedes Moné. I also stopped watching wrestling for a little while. I was outside, you know how it gets. But then one time my brother was watching and I saw her, and it was in NXT still. And I was like, the women are wrestling like this? And then he was like, yeah. So after that, I'm tuned in. Like I have never seen a woman wrestle like she did. And then the match with her and Bailey was just, I was like, yeah, that's it. She's my favorite wrestler. She was my favorite wrestler, period, at the time. And to this day, she's still my favorite women's wrestler. Also, shout out to Bianca Belair, though. Bianca is definitely a close second. Mercedes, she's really young. She embodies everything that you would want in a wrestler. She knows her character. The in-ring work is just phenomenal, and I think she does it right, where she's there for her fans when it's time to be Mercedes. But when she's off the clock, she's off the clock, and I respect that so much because fans don't have boundaries, and she's not having that. And like, how can you not respect that?
All right. Okay. My greatest of all time, a lot of y'all might not even know. But then I do have my very, very close second. So my favorite of all time is a retired wrestler who is now who's been assistant head coach of NXT. Her right name is Sarah Del Rey. I love that woman like the way she, and funny enough, that a king of trios. So wait, I was like, who is this thick woman just throwing people around? Murking men? Like, this is great. Oh my God. And I've never seen a bad match. I just never have. And she just showed me such strength and toughness in her wrestling. And I normally gravitate towards like high flying people. But I was very invested in her brand. Selfishly was very fortunate enough to design her gear choice. But yeah, she's amazing, and as you know, she's trained a whole lot of people there, including my second type runner-up, which is Bianca Belair. If Bianca is not close to the way, first of all, the style. Oh my God. The attitude when she used to be like, you know, and take her earrings off. I was like, finally somebody I could like closely relate to, you know. So she's definitely my close second, and I have to add this. I know we talked already about what was like your top moments. Well, I'll give you another one. WWE 2K did contact me because she had that SummerSlam contest. And I had to do a video on my top Bianca Belair gear, which was awesome and very hard to narrow down.
What was your favorite?
Oh, my favorite of all time was, and I'll answer.
We're just throwing them
To this day, it is, I can't remember the mania, but it was purple, and it was rhinestones everywhere, like Macho Man, but rhinestones, and it was like
Oh, like fringe?
fringe. It was
Oh, the
dripping everywhere. Baby rhinestones and the baby hairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then she would do a pivot. She would make sure you saw it. Yes. Oh my God. I remember. There's a video on my Instagram with me losing my mind in real time. Favorite. What was your question again?
Does she do all her stuff?
Yes, and she designs all her stuff and makes it. Designs and make it. And I can appreciate that even more. Yeah, is it chaos? Look, you know, that's creativity is. Chaos, baby.
For sure.
Yeah, mine is Bianca Megumi Kudo, if you guys know who that is. I love Megumi. And Lita, and I like Lita because I was like, I love pink, but I was very tomboyish. I hated dresses and stuff, and I was like, oh, you're a tomboy? Like, you're wearing a thong? I'm not very mad, that's a lot, but I like that you're like, you know, moonsaulting in a thong, because I feel like I would have been chafing and all types of, you know, like, I don't know. And I can respect that. And then she was with my favorite tag team of all time. It's like, how can you not love somebody who's with Jeff Hardy? Jeff Hardy was heavy in the trenches, y'all. It was tough. Heavy in the trenches. Like you mentioned, like being a tall AJ Lee, and that's like I want to say 2 years ago I got to meet Jeff Hardy. I met him before that. And the first time I met him at City Field, I was so like he was sitting next to me drinking water, and I'm like, oh my God, he's drinking water. And at first I was like, he's fucking drinking water, and I didn't get to talk to him, but I got to tell him like. I used to write fan fiction, like whatever Wattpad is now, it was forums. Online wrestling forums. I was writing Jeff Hardy love stories at like 14. And you couldn't tell me shit, couldn't tell me nothing. You could tell I was ready. And I was like, listen, you're the reason I'm like right. And you're even more the reason I got obsessed with watching every match you've ever done, like recording it, not revealing my age. VHS, blank VHS, recording matches, that was me. And I'm like, you don't understand the level of arguments I've gotten into about how great you was on fighting with my twin brother, like I got the TV because Jeff is on, you're gonna wait. You know, and so I can definitely understand the level of just like, oh my God. And so yeah, Jeff Hardy, but women is Megumi Kudo because I just thought she was so cool to wrestle the kind of matches she did and still looked really fabulous doing it. Bianca's Bianca, like bench pressing moves to me, I can never. And then Lita is just cool. And so I'm gonna end it here just to give people time to ask questions, but I wanna thank you ladies so much for coming on the panel, for the girlies who are in Philly, but you two, you know, we came from New York, and so thank you so much for coming in and, you know, wanting to do a panel with me here at Fan Expo Philly. Do anybody got any questions? I will bring my over if you do. Anybody got any questions?
Don't be scared.
Yeah. Come on. I cannot. I ain't gonna roll out the ring now.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate y'all. I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
So my question is, how do you think that wrestling companies can overcome what I've noticed watching is there never seems to be either two prominent heels or two prominent faces, whether tag teams or single, of color for women. There's either like one strong female heel of color or one tag team or one face. And I'm noticing this in like all companies.
Yeah, it is. It's very apparent in all companies. I've been in almost tag teams with people where we get one match, like me and my name's Carissa Rivera, Electra Lopez. We did a little tag team thing at the Monster Factory, and it was really fun and really cool. And then when we tried to take it out on the road, oh, but I'll book this weekend, I'll book that weekend, I'll book that. And then we tried. So it's a part of like, how can we work with each other's schedules? And also, who wants this? Like, which you would think everybody would want that. We were like gorgeous and like really good. But you would be surprised how much of it is just scheduling. And that's like a really boring answer, but women, I think because there's a more demand for it now, we're seeing ourselves more in, in singles matches with another woman or a makeshift tag team, just a one-off thing. And I don't know if it's necessarily, especially now, out of any sort of malice. I try not to think that. I don't want to believe that out of people, but it might be. It wouldn't be the case for me if I was booking my own show. You know what I mean? It would be covered in like cool tag matches, trios, and it would be all women, and it would be mostly women of color. I like the way we work, and yeah, it's a really boring answer. A lot of times, just really difficult to schedule that stuff. So that's.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Got like a few minutes. Any questions? We good?
I can piggyback off of that.
Yeah, yep, piggyback.
So, I totally agree. Commitment, that was the first thing that popped in my head. Commitment, whether it's scheduling or just you like the idea, everybody all hype, and you realize who really cares.
Yes.
And God forbid it's you. And you're pulling people.
You're the Marty Jannetty.
Yeah. You guys do all this daggone work. You know what I mean? You know, everything, like what we wear, what we doing, there's no ideas, there, you know, and that's the challenge when y'all come up with this idea or you come up with this idea and everybody seems game, and when the time comes to like, all right, we're ready, you're ready, but they're not ready, and then that gets a little disheartening, and then you have to figure out how to reset and pivot. I think that's the biggest challenge of it. Even before it does get to, like you said, TV and all that, which could definitely play a part, you know, maybe it's just the melanin too hot, you know, there's a possibility. But before that, the root is a lack of commitment at times.
And that's like the tough reality of it.
Yeah.
Is like I for example, like I'm wrestling tomorrow. I don't know who the hell I'm wrestling because the girl I'm supposed to wrestle wasn't able to make it. And she's another amazing woman of color wrestler. She's awesome. Nat Castle. Things happen. Check her out though. She's great. A little shorty like us too. So like just it's hard. It's sometimes really hard to commit to getting one person out there in the ring. Two, and they gotta kind of like be dressed alike and on the same page. And then also on the same page with the promoter, with the booker, with the other team. It's just like there's a whole lot for it. And with me and Electra, I really thought that something cool could have happened with us. I really, really did. And we did tagging. We tagged for Ring of Honor. Like I'm not saying this was just the Monster Factory. It was a Ring of Honor too. And she gets signed. What the hell was I supposed to do? I can't clone her. I would love to, but I can't. And then also some promoters are just really bad at booking things like that.
And they'll see the vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for asking. Thank you.
I would add one little fun thing to that, where sometimes there scheduling conflicts or the match is not available for, let's say, for whatever reason. It challenges us, I guess, to be multi-layered and to be able to play both sides. Like, you can want to be a heel and you can have your character be a heel, but sometimes, let's say, there's a match and you're there and the person who they wanted as a heel is not available and they want you to be a baby face. It challenges you to like, wait a minute, I can step in and I can be hated, but I can also play to the crowd and I can also be liked. I feel like it's a good challenge. challenge, and it's good to be able to play both sides, because you never know, like, when you get to a show, who's there, or what's available, or what they're gonna want from you. So I guess that's like the kind of benefits of being multi-layered, is being able to be, is useful the word? I don't know if it's useful.
Perfect.
Okay. And to be useful in moments where like someone is needed, when you're able to like be multi-layered and be able to play both parts.
Yeah, that's that skill set of being adaptable, right?
Adaptable. I like that
You
word.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Like you're like not a person.
yeah, because sometimes we see it on TV.
Yeah.
When people are thrown into a tag team, and sometimes it flourishes into something great, and sometimes it's trash, you know. so yeah, it's not easy, unless I feel like the best stables I've seen is the ones that've been in the trenches in the mud from the jump.
Thank you, ladies. So again, I want to thank the four of you, Arya, Haevyn, Yolanda, and Gabby, for coming on the panel for me. Thank you so much. And you guys were a great audience, so thank you so much for coming in, being supportive of the girls, because always support the girls, okay? Always about the girlies. And also, Labor of Love will have more wrestling tomorrow and on Sunday, and there's some more panels, so please support that, yes.
Just watch us.
Yeah.
Just try to watch that.
What was your first wrestling video game?
Oh, this will be quick, probably.
I've never played a wrestling video game in my life. Not once, not once. No. Wait, I'm lying. What's the one where it was like the story mode where you're Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio for Halloween Havoc, and then it goes, like, you do the match, and then it goes into the, like, is that, it was a 2K game for sure. I played it at some guy's house.
Yeah, that's
That is the only one that I've ever played. I don't even know what it was.
Okay. Day of Reckoning is my favorite wrestling ever. First of all, the cover, what is it with Trish? Is that 1 or 2? That was 1. Oh my god, that cover is so beautiful. And on the GameCube, that's like one of my favorite games to this day. I still have the disc, the little small GameCube disc.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's so much fun.
Oh wait.
This is a throwback, but it was WWE No Mercy.
Oh.
Looking at it now, it looks so bad. But that and WrestleMania 2000, I think, was the game. Those was Firefly. You know the song Firefly in the game? Yeah, that was. Actually, I wish I could play it
Oh my
now.
god.
No Mercy is definitely why I didn't bring the pain.
Yeah.
I'll be quick. I can't remember. You're gonna have to help me with this one. It's the Sega joint, the one where Sean. What is it? Royal Rumble.
You know
Where he's only like 5 characters. And because Shawn Michaels, as well as my favorite wrestler of all time, I will always claim him as Baby Daddy. That is who I picked with his limited moveset. And it's like 1994 Shawn. No, 3 Shawn. Back when he had no hearts. And he had like whatever that nonsense art was. Cause yeah, 94 Shawn and up is when whoop girl.
Listen, I was 6, but I knew.
Yeah. Don't let them have a beard too.
Yo.
SummerSlam 90.
You said you don't get it. No.
That's
Oh
okay.
my god.
It's all right.
I don't get it.
It's all right.
It's not for me to get.
But again, thank you guys so much. Definitely come out to check out Labor of Love. They will be here tomorrow and on Sunday. I'll be back on Sunday with a new group of ladies. Yolanda will be with me though, but I'll have a new group of ladies with me in the ring for another panel. And there's, I believe, 2 other panels happening on Sunday as well. So definitely come and support all the wrestling, especially the girlies, but support all the wrestling this weekend. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your con. Thank you.
Katrina, I just wanted to thank you for putting all of this together. You are an incredible host. I really am. Thank you so much for giving us this space. I really appreciate it. We all really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Always. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.